All right, Eric, go ahead and crack it.
Oh, that was a good one. Even got some on my keyboard, too.
Oh, that was a great one. Yeah. With that beautiful sound, we started another week of the Sunshine State Happy Hour, hosted and roasted and posted by FloridaBeerBlog.com and the Florida Beer Podcast. I am Dave, your host and author and everything, and we are going to be heading to the Copper State today. Up on the show, we have Eric Walters, author of the Arizona Beer Book,
The Arizona Beer Book, yep.
Creator and host of the how do you pronounce that? Because I want to say tap that as, but
some people do, some people don't. That's up to your interpretation. It means tap that Arizona, right? Obviously,
absolutely.
I wouldn't get inappropriate with it.
But yeah. So Eric from the Tap That Arizona podcast.
There you go. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Excellent. Yeah, you're repping the Arizona hat already. I kind of like it. Never got there when I was there, but they've got some great stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy Arizona. Maybe not as much as I enjoy Florida, but it's a phenomenal state. And in terms of culture and the beer scene that's really grown there, it's nutty.
I agree, man. So I moved here in 2007. Sorry if I just jump into this, but so I moved here in 2007, and there's a big thing that happened in 2015 where they changed the laws as far as like I don't know the exact details, but basically there was limitations on what breweries could do. So it basically put a ceiling on breweries to be like, hey, if you're too successful, then you're screwed, right? So
interesting.
Yeah. The Arizona Craft Brewers Guild would be able to tell you more about the details of that. But this SB 1030 was passed. So from 2015 until now, I would say the brewery's probably doubled. So we're about at 110. Okay. And when I started this podcast in 2017, we were at around 50 something. So, but when I moved here in 2007, there was like 20 options, 30 options, so, but dude, I love living in Arizona. Like I moved here from Ohio, and yeah. And I talk to my friends and family back home right now, and it's kind of a hotbed of what's going on now. That whole area there, and so yeah, man, we're my wife and I got two kids, two little girls, are 6 and 8. They're like boys in the way that they fight all the time and they get super physical. So.
Nice.
Yeah. But man, we're good out here. I mean, the weather's nice in Arizona right now. I'm sure it is in Florida too. So that helps to kind of ease the tension that exists right now.
But I'll tell you, you don't have the humidity that we have to deal with. I remember not the last time, one of the times that I went to Arizona previously, I actually drove down to Yuma, and it was April, May. It was 100 degrees at 10 p.m. at night, but it was comfortable because it just wasn't quite as bitterly humid or anything. I know it's a joke. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. I firmly believe that. I will live and die by that. I completely agree. What are you drinking? What did you just crack open for us?
So I've got it's called Business Ethics. This is a brewery right here, and I'm still getting the orientation of putting into the camera. Like, which way do I turn? So the Shop Beer Co. These guys are right in Tempe. This beer is called Business Ethics. It's a double dry hopped IPA. It is fantastic, man. These dudes have locked down the hazy IPA. What's really cool is they have a few flagships. They've got Church Music is their main flagship. It's a juicy IPA, but they do all these different collaborations with local bands, other breweries, restaurants, and they do a lot of one-offs. And dude, their can art is. I wish I would have hoarded more. My wife, she just sees the stack of cans I have. But their can art is unreal, man. They do all their art in-house. That's Yo-Yo is, dude. This was one of the best ones that they had. And a new thing that they're doing is they were doing it every week. Now they're still doing it, just not as consistent. But they've got Neonic, so it's a fruited sour series.
Oh, cool.
And it's cool because you've got all of the people that work there. Like, that's the owner, Dave. Nice. There's Dylan. Like, so all the people that are involved in it are in the artwork. It's pretty badass, man.
It's amazing. I'm going to go ahead.
I was gonna say the guys, they're just a really fun, really creative, and making good beer to back it up too. Because I mean, you can have some pretty sweet marketing, but if your beer doesn't live up to it, it's kind of like, nah.
Exactly.
But there's a lot in Arizona that are doing both at this point. So I'm real proud to be part of this community for sure.
Yeah, we'll chat a little bit about some of them here in a few seconds. I just figured I should shout out Summit Brewing Company in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm drinking
Nice.
Dakota Souls, little North Dakota barley on that, kind of nice and clean and simple. And I don't want to completely kill everybody with all Florida beers. In fact, I have I still have a couple, and I'm going to chat about them here in a couple seconds. I still have a couple from Wren House, which seems to be like some of the big hitters.
Yeah.
So I guess describe, obviously Phoenix is going to be the big area.
Yep.
I did notice, not Tempe. It's about an hour south of Phoenix. Tucson, yeah. Tucson had one heck of a nice scene going, I noticed when I was there. What's really going on in Arizona craft beer right now?
So what's really cool is I would say, so we did the Arizona Beer Book. We highlighted 37 breweries. It was a part one. We didn't want to do just a big encyclopedia watered down, here's a few sentences about each place. We wanted to get really in depth. So the book itself has 37 Arizona breweries, and we try to split it up percentage wise, right? So I would say probably over, I don't know, I'd say 60 to 70, probably about 60 of the breweries in Arizona are in the Phoenix metro area, right? And dude, Phoenix metro is huge. Like, I look back, in Ohio, where you had like Cleveland, and then you had like small towns, and then you had like Pittsburgh, and then small towns. Like, everything is just attached to Metro Phoenix, right? So you could drive from the far west side, where 8-Bit Brewery is, all the way down to Queen Creek, where Old Ellsworth is, and dude, that's like a 2-hour drive. But you're still in the same metro area, right? So there's a lot there in that metro area. But then up north we have Flagstaff. So that's one of the things I tell people, like, dude, it's so hot in the summer in Arizona. I'm like, it is. Like, there's 6 to 8 weeks that it's unbearable. But you go 2 hours north to Flagstaff, and you go from 115 degrees to like 80 degrees, right? And you've got like 7 breweries all within walking distance, and all of them, but they all have their great, I won't say anything negative, but they all have their great things. Some of them have real good beer. Other ones have a really cool patio. Beer kind of lacks a little bit.
The one that because I managed to get into Flagstaff, and I managed to escape the snow, which
nice.
What was the name of that place that I went to?
Probably Dark Sky.
Dark Sky,
yeah.
And I had a great long interview with the owner, a couple of the brewers, and it was just killer beer after killer beer after killer beer. It was just nuts.
Innovation, man.
Nuts.
Dude, those guys, so when they opened up, so my in-laws used to live in Flagstaff, so we would go down. Me and my father-in-law we'd hit up the breweries. Mother Road was like our first love. Like, we loved, still do, Mother Road Brewery, right? They're one of the bigger ones in the state. So Dark Sky opens up, and we go there, and dude, their first flight was like, you had like a jalapeno Kolsch, you had like, all these wacky things, and it was a little tough to get used to, because it's like, man, I don't know. My father-in-law's old school. He's like, dude, I just want a West Coast IPA, and at Dark Sky, you'll get that, but it might not be there the next time. So what I really respect about those guys is they had their vision from day one, and they got a lot of people telling them throughout the process, like, man, this is not the right path to go down. You guys need to have some core beers. You can experiment a little bit. And they're like, we appreciate it, but this is what we're doing. And now they're looked at as if not the most innovative brewery in Arizona. I mean, you've had gin and tonic inspired sours that just nail them. But yeah, Dark Sky's a good one. So
nice.
So you got Tucson or Flagstaff that has about 8 breweries, I think, in the town of Flagstaff. But then you go a couple hours south of Phoenix, hour to 2 hours south, and that's when you're in Tucson, right? And Tucson has 22 breweries, I think, in the city limits, and some of the best in the state, man. And Tucson's really good about maintaining historic buildings, right? So you go and you walk to these breweries, and you're not just in a brand new build, strip mall type of thing, and there's a place for that, but these are old brick buildings. Just, dude, it's really cool. Now, don't go too far outside of the downtown area in Tucson. You might run into some trouble. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's everybody in Arizona, I think, is kind of doing their own thing as far as kind of be like, hey, we want to make what we want to make, and there's a lot of them embracing of desert ingredients. And that,
interesting. Yeah. It was, and there's a lot going on that you can sort of harvest from the area. I was amazed on how much agriculture there was in Arizona. I was just expecting it to be sand.
John Wayne, right?
It's just not. There's so much. To be honest with you, I was shocked on how many things like lettuce. So much lettuce in Yuma. I'm standing on a lettuce field, and over there is Mexico, not New Mexico, Mexico.
Right.
So it's just phenomenal. It's just amazing.
I think real quick, I was going to say the thing about Yuma is really interesting is they're known as it's like the best weather in the United States, like the best temperament and everything. I mean, Yuma's a little bit. I mean, you drive through it and not talking smack on Yuma. I don't, if you're from Yuma, I'm sorry, but it doesn't seem like a place that you'd really want to stay for too long. Yeah. But
I do have to give a shout out to Prison Hill Brewing.
I need to get out there. I've heard great things about them.
It's good stuff. The food's really good too. And that's one thing that amazes me about Arizona beer is so many of these places, you go to a place and it's got to have a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like every single place had a kitchen, or most places had a kitchen. Now, they may not be nearly as fancy or as restaurant focused as like Santan was.
Sure.
Santan had phenomenal food, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody had a kitchen. Even Dark Sky, it wasn't their kitchen, but they had a pizza place that was basically in the same building, like in the same room.
That was cool. That's one of the best pizza places in the country, or in the state. So Pizza Cleta, the original location was attached to Mother Road. So Mother Road, they were in this old building in the original location, and so Dark Sky didn't always have that. I think they built that within probably the last year, but they pulled out a bunch of barrels and things like that to be able to make room for that. And dude, that was genius, because you got one of the best beer makers in the state and one of the best pizza makers. Yeah. Come on, man. And you got a town of Flagstaff. It's a killer combo for sure.
So how is Arizona doing with the quarantine? Obviously, things are a little bit different, but because so many of these breweries also have kitchens, are they doing mostly takeout for both the beer and the food? How many of them is sort of closed down? What's really sort of going on?
Yeah, so there's been one thing that I have to give a shout out to the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. So from the beginning, when all this started, things started to get really serious. For me, when I realized it was serious, we were doing trivia at a brewery up where I live, and on the TV they had college basketball on or something, and at the bottom it said NBA season canceled. I'm like, oh shit, like that's serious. And then I saw Tom Hanks came down with it. I'm like, oh shit, like this is zombie apocalypse, man. It's going down, So then over the next few weeks, nobody you don't know how to react, right? You don't know how to plan for this. You don't have a contingency plan for a virus outbreak. So the Brewers Guild was really good as far as clarifying laws. They're reaching out to the representatives in the state of saying, hey, our breweries need to survive. Like, what are the laws? What can they do? Because I heard that it was illegal to deliver beer and do pull-up service, and then I also heard that it wasn't illegal. There's another brewer that told me, they're like, I don't think it's always been legal. We've been doing it, so I don't know. But the guild was really good as far as clarifying, like, hey, here are the things that you guys can do. And they even had they've had a few seminars, like webinars, like Zoom sessions, where they'll have like HR person come in, small business loan expert come in, and the breweries can tune in and just stay up to date with all these resources. So huge shout out to the guild for doing that. So yeah, most of them are doing takeout. They're doing delivery. One of the the biggest in the state, one of the most popular ones is Arizona Wilderness. They're delivering beer all over the metro area. Like their range is huge. I know Beer Research Institute's doing the same thing. So these guys are doing what they have to survive, and unfortunately a lot of them had to leave let their staff go. They had to get the bare bones. There's a couple that have shut their doors, possibly permanently, but I don't think it's gotten too serious yet. There's only been a couple that have had hints of that, or there was one that closed before this all happened, but I didn't think they were going to stay open much longer anyways.
Gotcha. So, who was that?
It was freaking.
Okay. I know a lot of breweries, and the last time that I was there, when I first connected with you about the Hopped Up Network and everything, I was able to kind of get your take on a number of the breweries that I wanted to go to, and I don't think I really had a bad one when I went. So
yeah. Well, so here's I agree with you, and that's one of my friends. I hadn't been to Denver. I drove through Denver when I moved out here. I was in Denver when I was like in high school, but I'd never hit the beer scene up until about 2 years ago. So about 2.5 years ago, I asked a friend who had just went, I'm like, dude, is the Colorado beer scene like that good? Like is the Cerebral IPA really that much better than a Wren House IPA? And he was like, no. He's like, they're equal. He's like, here's the thing though, in Denver, every beer you have is on point. You have to be on point with every one of them, so I think Arizona's just getting to that point where it was getting tough competition wise. So if you wanted to stay in the game, you had to bring the A game, which is good, man. That pushes everybody to raise the levels, Yeah,
unfortunately, not every place is sort of like that. And there have been a number of places in Florida and a couple places in Arizona that I won't mention, but I've had to dump a few flights, which is sad, but unfortunate. There you go. So with the podcast, how is the podcast going? How long have you been doing that? And kind of what have you been doing with the podcast since the coronavirus epidemic has sort of taken hold?
Yeah, well, it completely changed the game for us. So January 2017 was episode 1 of Tap.az. So I've got a business partner now, but not with Tap.az. So Tap.az is completely mine. The beer podcast, that brand is 100% me. But about 2 years ago, I partnered up with this kid. And I say kid because I'm 41. This dude's 23. He's light years more mature than I am. So he came, he reached out to me before a beer festival, because what I do for the beer festivals is I have a setup. I set up the microphones. We actually have a table where we're selling merchandise and stuff. And then I have the podcast set up. So as people are coming through, people stop. And obviously as the festival goes further and further, people get more inclined to jump on the mic. So last hour, I usually just shut them off. I just let them have fun with it. I'm not recording this. But anyways, long story short, Luke reached out and he's like, hey man, I really like what you're doing. I'd be interested in, working with you on a couple projects. So we started working together, and this dude is everything that I'm not, and vice versa. I'm the kind of the face of what we do. I'm the networking person, kind of like the salesperson, where he's the back of the house, business operations. How do we make this sustainable? I hate that stuff. He loves it, so it works out perfect. So about 2 years ago, we started working on just some different projects. We put out the Arizona Beer Book. That took about a year from concept to printing it, and actually it took about 2 months to print. So we got that book completed, and it's hardcover, full page photos. Like we wanted to make it high quality.
Nice.
And that took about 10 months, which is crazy because neither of us we'd never done a book before. So that came out in December. And so we were really just starting to hit our sales, our marketing strategy with it. And this happened. And luckily we were able to get books to most of the breweries, so the breweries can be selling them on their shelves, bringing in a little extra revenue for them. But we started working also on, launching a food brand as well. So not just Arizona. So for us, people have said, do you want to expand outside of Arizona beer? Do you want to do this podcast in Denver and San Diego, Portland, I'm like, no, I want to expand outside of beer within Arizona. So so over the last 6 months, we've been planning and filming some video content for this
Nice.
basically a food series. And what's really cool is we have one of the guys that's going to be on it was just the runner-up on the Vegas chef prize fight on Food Network.
Nice.
Jeff Krause. Yeah, he owns a place called Crepe Bar in Tempe. And is just an awesome dude. Nice. Good friend of ours. So we're real lucky. So yeah, we were planning on doing that, and then all of a sudden this hit, and we're like, dude, nobody's gonna want to pay extra for marketing materials or anything like that. So really what we've converted it to now is what can we do right now to help, right? Because this community has given a lot to us, as far as just they've been open arms with us for the last last 3 years. So now we're selling, we got the beer book for sale still, but now $10 of each book is going to go towards this fund that the Brewers Guild has for breweries in need. I didn't, it was tough. I wanted to, you don't want to give it to one place. It's like your kids, right? You have to give one to everybody, So I figured, as us putting it towards the guild would be really beneficial. So go ahead. I think you're going to ask a question.
No. I was just listening to the rest of your story.
So the book, $10 of each book goes towards that. $5 of each shirt that we sell, both Tap That Easy and the Arizona Beer. And then also the big part is it actually expands our opportunities at this point, right? Because every episode that I've done, except for one out of, up until this point, let's say 170 episodes, all but one have been in person, right? So I'm driving to Tombstone, I'm driving to Flagstaff, and I'm not complaining. That was part of the plan, right? I wanted to explore this beautiful state as part of this. So, but now that we can't do that, now I'm just doing them all like this. And it's actually been great because I'm not limited by travel. I'm not limited by their schedule. They're not limited by my schedule. I send them, my availability at the beginning of the week, and they say, hey, here's the day I want to do it. And we jump on, and it's been good, man. It's been good trying to help get the message out. Typically I do an episode a week, sometimes 2 per week. So my goal is to just get them out as quick as possible. I used to kind of build up a reserve of like 5 to 6. But I'm like, at this point, they need to get out pretty timely. Yeah. So we're adjusting. And with the business side of things, of being like basically a media company that, helps people with their branding and their marketing and video work, photography, really all of those things. Now we're just really looking at instead of food and beverage, now also looking at other areas, like getting into real estate, helping people with that. Our passion still lies in food and beverage, but we know that it's a tough industry anyways, because a lot of them are just, their margins are so thin anyways. A lot of them don't have that extra funding they don't have a marketing budget, but that doesn't want us, that doesn't, that we don't want that to keep us from covering them, right? We just have to be able to cover our butts some other way, and then we can represent and cover the things that we want to cover. Excellent. If that makes sense. Yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense. Seeing as you follow and listen to a lot of these people, what breweries are doing something that you find kind of really interesting to deal with the current quarantine? What sort of really neat stories have you seen come out?
Oh, man. Well, a big one is, I don't know if this is going on in Florida, but a lot of places are starting to make hand sanitizer. So like the distilleries, there's a few like Oso, these guys, nice. Dude, their founder, owner, John Lane, dude, is one of the best people I've ever met. This guy was, within the first couple of days of them having to close their doors for service, they're still doing, takeaway and all that stuff. He was out on Indian School Road, busy road right there in the Arcadia area of Phoenix, holding signs saying, I'm the owner. I'm here fighting for my employees, my family. Come in, we've got beer and food to go.
Nice.
And he was one of the first ones. I think he was the first one. Some of these places started making the sanitizer available for like customers. If you come, you can buy a 4-pack of beer and you can, get your own hand sanitizer. Dude, this guy came out. I say it's out of nowhere, but I didn't see the post leading up to it. And we see their trucks, kegs full of hand sanitizer that they're donating to hospitals.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So now Santan just did that as well. There's a distillery I just had on. Actually, the episode will come out Wednesday. Distillery that's making them, and Town Under Black Distillery is actually donating all of the sanitizer they make to the Navajo reservation.
Interesting.
Yeah, really, really in need people. A lot of them don't have running water. So Town Under Black's like, dude, we're not going to charge anything for this. That would be, we would not, that would make, that's just not the right thing to do. We're just going to donate it, you know? So what I've noticed, I guess, overall is the food and beverage scene in Arizona has just stepped it up, man. Like it's a passionate group of people, and I don't want to make it sound like it's any better than any other area. It's just, this is just all I know. I've never known any other food and beverage scene besides Arizona. So I like to, you know, it's once again, it's like your kids. I want to brag them up. I'm like,
yeah.
You know? But it's such a young scene. Like the food, the beer, distilleries, they've all of this is just starting to come up over the last 5 years in this state. So it's a tight knit community, and you know, people are fighting for each other, man. And it's Jeff Krause, the guy I was just telling you about, him and his staff made breakfast for Arizona Wilderness staff just one day, just randomly showed up, made them, you know, so it's things like that. I love being part of this community because most of them, especially in beer, they quit something they hate to do to follow their dream. Yeah. And dude, that makes them dangerous, man. You know, was it Ryan? I think it was Ryan from Dark Sky you interviewed, right?
He was one of the people that I interviewed the last time I was in Arizona, but yes, I did speak with him. One of the only
non-bearded guys in beer in
Arizona. You're totally right. You're totally right.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. This guy he's driving his beer from Flagstaff down to Phoenix. He's done it a couple times over the last few weeks, just working his ass off, trying to just stay alive, man. This is his dream, and he's not going to let anybody take it away, anybody or anything, man. And I love that. That's just nice. That drive and heart. Just, yeah, man. That's why I do what I do.
All right. So I will leave you with this, because I'm leaving with everybody. I'm asking everybody this question just to see what's going on. Once we are back to normal, once this is all gone, what changes, what sort of new innovations do you see breweries doing right now that you would like to see them continue to do once all of this is over and we can go back to normal?
Well, obviously the delivery, the focus on, I was talking to the guys from Arizona Wilderness actually right before this started. And I don't think that they were on like Uber Eats or anything like that, because they were very concerned about, the quality control, right? Like you get a burger and fries from Arizona Wilderness, top notch. You said, you know, you put them in a to-go container, drive 35-40 minutes home, it's not going to be the same. So they were like, we want to ensure that we have that quality. And then this happened, and you got to do what you got to do. So I think what a lot of these breweries have done is found a way to survive by being able to do to-go orders and delivery orders while also maintaining that quality, right? So they're figuring out ways to really create more ways for them to get their brand out there. Right. So that's what I hope to see continue is, I don't know, maybe I'm not about delivery or I just hope Zone Wilderness continues to deliver beer up my way. I guess that's all I want. I want to say this too, just real quick. I think overall, I don't know if this is more of a hope of mine rather than a prediction, but I hope overall what this does is help, you know, it's really helped me and my wife is, hopefully this helps people realize, you know, perfection is not, you know, what more can you add to something? It's like perfection is met when you can't take anything else away, right? Yeah. Simplify things. Like, what can you get away with? What can you rid yourself of? You know, not only just personally, but like professionally. Like, oh shit, dude, we didn't need all that stuff. You know, we didn't. You know, so that's my hope for this is it helps open people's eyes of like, hey, what is really important, and like, what is it that, you know, what can you get rid of? What really doesn't make much of an impact on your life? So
that's absolutely perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric Walters. You can buy the Arizona Beer Book at thearizonabeerbook.com. Listen to Tap That something.
Tap That, yeah.
Exactly. They're on Instagram at TapThatAZ. I find it wherever you find the Florida Beer Podcast, because I know you're listening to that at the same time. So Sunshine State Happy Hour is hosted by me, Dave, your host and author from FloridaBeerBlog.com and the Florida Beer Podcast. Come join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. We have the Gainesville Beer Society on with us. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe out there.
Quick thing. Can I plug one more quick thing?
Go for it.
Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Arizona time. So that'd be 9 o'clock Eastern. I've been doing a Instagram live, right? I've cool. As many things as we've done and much impact as we've made, my social presence was never really good. Like, I'm like, I don't want to deal with I like in-person things, right? So I've been upping my game on social media. So on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock Arizona time, we've been doing an Instagram live, and I try to get 3 to 5 guests. Last week I had Zane Lamprey on. We're trying to get some musicians to play some acoustic stuff. So more of a almost like a live version of a variety show type of thing.
Oh, nice.
You know? And yeah, and to anybody out there that one of the things my wife's really proud of is how quickly I can chug beer. So every week I challenge one person to a chugging contest, and if they can beat me, I'll give them a free shirt.
Oh God, that's insane. No, thank
you.
I'm able to get that. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And see everybody tomorrow or for Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern for a chugging contest on the Tap That AZ Instagram account.
Heck yeah.
God.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.